Alex Earl, she's nasty as fuck, and said she has a dress with throw up in it. And I'm more entertaining, and I have a podcast, and I'm funny. Me and Alex engagement in pretty much the same damn shit. And Alex is funny to white people, or is she even funny? And we all know that I'm the baddest. But Alex Earl, come to the podium. Prada, I spent $6,000 in your store. I better be receiving some gifting, or I'm gonna start being mediocre like you white hoes. Because if I take away popular sounds, half you hoes ain't got a fucking account. Everybody broke needs to go to mime school. And my family has been struggling so bad. I'm in my living room, you're in the projects. And my family has been struggling so bad. And your fucking Section 8 housing apartments sitting in your dirty, broken cars that need transmission replacements.
Hey, it's Nikki B on the scene, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss another beat with me. And if you're not, welcome back. So let me tell y'all, I literally had to do this video over. And this video is obviously about Fanita and that entire week of her just rambling about X, Y, and Z, and we're going to get into that. But I was pretty much defending her, and more videos came out, and she kind of started showing her behind a little bit, and I'm like, I gotta scrap the video. I cannot post this because people are gonna come for my neck if I even try to come at it at that kind of angle. So we're here. For some of you who do not know what the heck I am talking about Fanita and her entire rant about basically how the pay disparities between black creators and non-black creators, but more towards white creators, because that's who she was really comparing it to. And yes, this is a conversation that has happened on numerous occasions. I feel like every month we might have a nice little discourse about it, which is true. Black creators are not paid as much compared to white creators or just non-black creators. This is definitely an issue. This is something that people have been very vocal about. Other black creators that I cannot think off the top of my head has spoken about it. So it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had. But Fanita was online basically talking about that, and what really caused people to get into like an uproar about what she was saying, because they was all following her until she said this. She compared herself to Alex Earl. Now, I do not know who is Alex Earl. I do not watch her content. I am not her target audience, and she's over there. But for context, she is a white woman, a young white woman at that. She's pretty, and she has over, I think, 7 million followers. She does a lot of beauty content, skincare, all that extra stuff. You know, the basic stuff that most of these girls be doing, you know. And Fanita compared herself to Alex Earl. And a lot of people were just like, you two don't even make the same content. So to even compare yourself to her doesn't really make much sense. But again, Fanita was going really strong in her stance that she said she looked better than Alex Earl. She gets more engagement than Alex Earl. She's funnier than Alex Earl, blah, blah, blah. They're just saying that she was pretty much better than Alex Earl. And like, again, never in my life would I have thought that I would be defending a white woman. And it's not against nothing with my white girls. Nothing against y'all. But if you see how my channel is stacked up, what I be talking about, sometimes it's hard to defend you guys. But anyway, Alex Earl didn't do nothing. She might have had, obviously, it's definitely a little white privilege somewhere in there. She definitely comes from a background that's a little up there in status, you know, in class or whatever the case may be, but she was doing her thing. We cannot take away from the fact that she was out here creating content, and she was doing it back to back, posting multiple times a day. She built herself, okay? And yes, because of how she looks like, where she comes from, blah blah blah, she has a little hand. And that's what happens in this world. When you have certain things in society that's deemed valuable to, let's say, the masses, you're gonna be propelled a little faster compared to somebody who doesn't have that. And unfortunately, Fanita, you don't have that. You're not her. You don't do the content that she does. That's just a terrible comparison. If anything, it would make sense if she would compare Alex to Monet. They both make similar content, and I would say Monet deserves way more than what she has. But who's to say that Monet isn't comfortable where she's at? I'm just saying in general, if you're gonna do a comparison, compare people that actually make similar content, but you can't be over here, you know, your entire content is you coming online, chatting about your life, A lot of times you do talk about some pretty negative things, and I'm not talking about the social injustices stuff. That stuff we should always talk about, but I'm talking about you just being negative, you calling people out their name, like you're just being very volatile. That's not marketable. Being volatile is not marketable, especially if you're trying to reach certain heights in your career. You want to start catering yourself to those companies that you want to work for. Cause that's what that really is. You're gonna work for these companies. This company not gonna just pay you, you're gonna get a little check and say no. You're gonna end up working for these companies. So if you want these companies to look out for you, to look towards you, you got to start catering your content to match that energy. And unfortunately, Fanita's content does not equate to that. And it's just so much things with her content that I'm like, sometimes it's funny and sometimes I just be looking at it and I'm just like, girl, are you okay? But that's what has been going on. And then again, other people have gotten involved with their think pieces and she has came at them. I'm going to mention later in the video about the whole Mecca thing. And although I do believe Mecca was a little too close to home when she made that, but I think she's just using her weight loss business as like a cover up. Cause girl, let's be real. Let's be real. And even when you did address her, you was throwing shade. Like, come on now, you still continue to throw shade. Like, we get it, girl, I see it, but it was a clean shade. I ain't gonna lie, it was clean. It was smooth, but it was shade. Everyone was just giving their think pieces. Denzel also mentioned something, but he didn't name no names. Basically saying like, there's content creators and versus influencers, and I'm gonna get into that a little later in the video. But that has happened in these past couple of days, and I'm just gonna talk about the things that kind of just stood out to me, like what I gathered from this entire conversation from everybody. The number one thing that I would say that not only Fanita, but anybody who creates content, the number one thing that I have learned is that you cannot address everyone. People are always going to have something negative to say about you. It doesn't matter how family friendly it is. It doesn't matter how much you edit this or how you look like this in a video, what you say. Like, it does not matter. You could be perfect as you might think you are, and somebody's going to find something wrong with what you're doing. People are always going to have something negative to say. You cannot clap back at everybody. And when you constantly do that on a very consistent basis, people are going to start looking at you like you're the problem. And it's nothing wrong with having a little kiki, all right, I'm gonna do a little clapback session at somebody. It's nothing wrong with that. But when you do that consistently, it kind of just waters down your content. In my opinion, I think it's just I don't even want to say water down your content. I think it takes the focus away from what you're here to do with your content, wherever it is, And I'm speaking beyond Fanita and her issues. I'm just saying in general, when you keep trying to address everybody, trying to correct people, trying to say, no, but you got your facts wrong, but no, but da-da-da, like, where's your content? Do your content, focus on yourself, because honestly, the best clapback is remaining unbothered. I think the best things I've seen, I don't mean to mention this woman, but Michaela has been in a lot of things, a lot of controversial things. They came at her for the eyelashes. They came at her for, I think, some other things as well. I think it was like lipstick or something like that, whatever. This girl has been shown that she has been allegedly lying. But you know what she does? She still posts makeup videos. Rihanna still reached out to her. Sis is still getting brand deals. Whether she's lying or not, whatever drama that she's in, you know what she does? I have not seen her address anybody on anything that she was involved in. They even came out this woman's accent. Her accent is not really allegedly real. And it's not to say that Michaela, I don't know what her personality type is. I can't say she's good or bad or whatever. I don't know her. But one thing I do know is that she knows how to be quiet and knows how to catch a bag. That's what a lot of people need to do. Sometimes you just gotta be quiet. And then the second thing that I've learned as well is that sometimes you gotta leave your personal stuff to the back. Why are you explaining and telling your whole business? Okay, sometimes you gotta pack it up and leave it off the internet. Like, I know the internet and some people's social media pages is a space for them to express themselves, to kind of in a way be themselves, because in real life they feel like they can't be themselves around certain people or just be in a certain space, so they curate that space online just to talk about their lives and their experience. And to me, I think that's great. I think it's amazing to show that side of vulnerability. I think that's awesome, but you have to treat it with caution, because people are going to take your experiences and rip it apart, or they're going to try to dictate how you should have responded to certain situations. And then sometimes the story that you might have been a victim in, you might end up becoming the villain in other people's eyes based on what they might perceive your story to be. Like, you just have to be mindful. Treat your personal business with caution. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with expressing yourself, talking about, you know, some experiences, whether good or bad, etc. You can tell your story. I believe we're all storytellers here. Treat it with caution. I feel like this girl Fanita has came online and said some pretty, like, okay, like, maybe you should not have came online and said that. And she's very flip-floppy, especially particularly when it comes to just herself explaining like how she is. Like, on one moment she was saying how she's actually like a really nice girl and how she's not really like that, like, this isn't you, this and that. Like, she had like a video, and this is, like I said, it's all within this week of all of her videos popping up. So basically she was saying like, you know, I'm really not that mean, but then in her next video she's talking about, nah, this is who I am, I'm really mean, like, I'm really mean, like, this is how I talk, nobody reached out to me, like, the girl is flip-floppy. So for me, I take a lot of what she says like a grain of salt, because I'm just like, you're very much like, are you mean or are you not mean? That's it. That's all you just need to go. If you want to be the mean girl, cool, which I'm actually going to get into another topic right underneath that. But it's just like, there is a huge reason as to why you're not getting those deals. And now the next thing I'm going to get into is one thing I learned is that the mean archetype does not work for Black girls. We cannot be the mean girl online. It's already enough that we have these stereotypes of us being the aggressor, of us being ghetto, of us being this and that, So being mean is going to do us way more harm than for us to come on here and be sweet. I put that in quotations. And don't get me wrong, there are some girls who on here that, you know, stand their ground, who are very firm, strong-minded, etc. You can still have those traits, you can still be that, but I'm saying to actively be mean, to come on here and have a very mean personality type, that just does not work for girls that look like us. And in Fanita's case, because she went from a bigger person to a smaller person, people have said she has gotten meaner, which, honestly speaking, I don't think she gotten any meaner than what she was before. I think overall, that's just who she was. I think she was a mean girl, dealing with a lot of stuff outside and online. And I don't think that has ever changed. I just don't think the mean archetype works, whatever, be profitable, marketable, valuable, whatever you want to call it, for people that look like Fanita. And then also, can we please stop saying I hate my fans? And we definitely heard this before with Miss Doja Cat. She talking about F all you guys, blah, 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 whatever she said. So Fanita pretty much had her own version of that. She's like, you know, I hate you guys always love me, blah, 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 blah. And my whole thing is, you would not be here if it wasn't for your fans. You would not be making $20,000 a video. Probably less than that now, because you kind of ruined, you went downhill. But at the time, you making like $20,000 a video just for posting and chatting. Imagine making that much money, even though $20,000 isn't really that much money. But to the average person who has not touched that kind of money at any job that they have worked in their lifetime, that is a lot of money. That is a blessing, to be able to come online and be like, you know what, let me do a video and you get paid from that. Especially right now with everything being so expensive and everything you should be grateful that you're able to do that. And the fact that she came on here and basically was saying like, you know, I hate you guys are annoying, blah, blah, just went on this whole entire rant. It's like, girl, you have to get it together. Like, I just don't understand the whole I hate my fans. Like, it's one thing to set boundaries with your audience, because then I feel like you can help minimize the parasocial relationships that people tend to build with creators and celebrities, etc. Blah, blah, blah. That's good. set boundaries. I think you should always set boundaries with your audience. That's why I tell my audience, I'm listen, like, we can have a conversation, we could kiki, but we're not gonna be talking to each other like we the best of friends, or you gonna try to come at me any type of way like you talking to me like I'm your sister or your mother or whoever. I don't know. But we gonna keep it cute and professional over here. But the moment it starts getting to a certain point that I feel like that that deviates from the point at hand, then I'm going to remove that. I am not your friend. I am flattered if it feels like you're talking to your friend. If you feel like you're talking to somebody you can trust when you watch my videos, I'm flattered by that. When I say I'm not your friend, because I don't want to be outside in the street and I'm walking, enjoying my day, and somebody randomly comes up to me, touch me, or try to just hug me, and I never initiated anything, that's a problem. Because how I am online could be completely different outside. It's not to say I'm super different from here or anything. I'm just saying, like, I'm still a person. That's basically what it comes down to. I am still a person. And I feel like that should be the same for anybody who, anybody who creates content. Like, these are still people at the end of the day. And not only that, we are still people who create the content, we also have to know that real people are watching us for the most part. Because, the way AI is moving, we about to have a lot more bots at this point. And I think the biggest thing that I noticed with Fanita and her entire controversy is that she's really in a victim mentality. At least in my opinion, I think she's in a victim mentality because, again, remember, she used to be very big. She was obese. And, she got some money. She did the weight loss surgery. She did a couple other enhancements on her body just so she could get her health on track, so she could feel better, so she could look better, and just have a better and healthier lifestyle. I can only imagine the mental process behind all that surgery and having to change her diet. And again, it's being shown online because it's not like she stopped making videos. Like, she was pretty open about her surgery and what she had to go through and how people was also treating her. And she said when she was fat, people used to call her ugly and this and that, da da da. And keep in mind, Fanita was never ugly. I don't see her as ugly. I never thought she was ugly. I think she's beautiful. But she was saying when she was bigger, she wasn't getting a lot of positive remarks on her looks. It was only until she started to lose weight, but basically when she started to lose weight, that's when she started to see more people like, oh my gosh, like, your body is tea, you're so pretty, da da da. She started getting more of that. So for her, she was just dealing with a lot of, like, one moment you guys are calling me ugly, next moment you guys are calling me pretty. And then now at this particular point, everybody's just in the middle. Yeah, she was basically talking about just how she was being treated and stuff like that. So, and I mean, like I said, I can't really get it, but I know what it's like to be a little thick girl, okay? I know what it's like. I know some of the experience. I know how people treat us thicker girls in society, even though for me, mine is a little different because the way my body is built muscular with fat, and then a lot of my stuff, my assets, it falls into the places that's desirable. We're gonna leave it at that. So I'm treated just slightly a little different compared to Fanita. But then again, I was never Fanita size at any given point in my life, so I don't know that aspect, but I can relate to some degree. You're going through that, you're changing online, you're dealing with people online, you're dealing with people offline. I can only imagine, like I said, the mental gymnastics that she had to do just to kind of navigate all that. And probably didn't really have a lot of people in her circle that could relate to her on that, because it seemed like, from what I've seen, she was friends with a lot of people who were, smaller, what I'm saying? I'm gonna say it was skinny, but a lot of them were smaller, so they probably couldn't really give her any positive, like, affirmations or advice or anything like that, because they just did not experience that, or wouldn't really understand her plight of just being a bigger Black woman. But the whole point that I'm trying to get to before my camera dies is that I think she's just still in that I'm still a big girl mentality. So I feel like now she's just trying to just prove to people, like, no, I am pretty, I am the baddest, I am this. Even though, like I said, she's always been saying that. Even when she was big, she was like, I am the bad, da da da. But even now, it feels like she's trying to truly, like, drive that home with people. Like, no, I am pretty, I am this, da da da, I'm better than y'all, da da da, da da da. That she's been saying that a lot. Just do your best to get out of that mindset, because once you stuck in that mindset, everything will always be about that. You're not going to grow. And I want Fanita to grow. Like, I want her to go beyond this. I want her to create new content. Like, I think she could go into hosting. She has a podcast that I think is pretty successful. She could go bigger with that. She could host things, like, just take it to next level. And let me just say some honorable mentions before my camera dies. The whole Mecca thing, when Mecca mentioned, like, you know, not everybody is meant to be thin. Like, even though she does have a weight loss business, which honestly, let's be real, I didn't even know she had a weight loss business at all. Like, I've seen her content and she always was talking about like some real stuff. Don't get me wrong, she was talking about some real stuff. She was doing her thing, you know what I'm saying, but I didn't know she had a weight loss business. So when she said that, when I saw the video, I was actually highly confused. I was like, that's a little too close to home to what's happening with Fanita, and it felt like shade. It did feel like shade, but however, I think Fanita should have just sat that one out. She could have just been like, hey, like, were you talking about me? And then the girl could be like, no, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about, you know, I have weight loss, but And then Fanita could have been like, all right, cool. You know, but she said that, you know, her and Fanita did talk it out, whatever, so they ain't got no beef. Now, Denzel talked about the whole content creators versus influencers. Honestly, I just think it's the same thing. I know people want to have the separation, like, oh, there's people who create content, you know, just for the page, and there's people who are influencers. If you can get people to follow you, then you have influence. So whatever you say, people are going to believe. Whatever you do, people are going to look at you, etc., whatever. If you have something that people want to see and hear, you have influence. Some people do get reached out by brands, etc., companies, whatever, to promote a product, if their content aligns with that brand. But you don't need brand deals or companies reaching out to you to be an influencer. Because I'm sitting here in this video, somebody could be looking at my face and be like, oh, what's that lipstick? That's influence. People could say what lashes she has on. Those lashes are really cute. And I could be like, oh, I have the Ardell lashes. I bought it from the beauty supply store. That's influence. There is no content creator versus influence. That is the same thing, and we are going to leave it at that. But that is all I have to say for this entire topic. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will be back again with another one.